For discussion forum number 4, you're going to create a survey that's going to be your tool or instrument that's going to allow you to collect primary research data for this project. So you just finished project number 2, or you're in the middle of finishing that up. That is the literature review. And as you've noticed, as you've read through journal articles, you've seen that after they establish the conversation that's been going on in the field about the topic, they move on to their study, and their study usually starts with something like methodology, there's participants, instrumentation, the data collection process, data analysis, results, limitations, and discussion. Your survey is going to contribute to that part, which will be added on to project 2 so that it becomes project number 3. So as you can see, I'm in my Gmail. I'm going to open up my little Google waffle or whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to scroll down to forms. And when I get into forms, I'm going to choose a blank form. So we'll go ahead and choose one. All right, and there's a few things that you're going to want to remember as you start to create this survey. One, you'll want to give it a title. Usually you give it a description. You can use these tools here to add a question, to import questions, to add a title and a description. So maybe you'll have specific headings that lead into certain questions. You only need to have 10 questions. You can add an image. You can add a video, and you can add a section. A section would be, for example, if you had a yes or no question, that would lead, yes would lead to one section, no would lead to another, for example. So you can set that up too. Some really important pieces that you need to attend to, though, are that you'll want to go into your settings and you'll want to make sure that it's not collecting email addresses. So you don't want to do that because you want your research to be anonymous. You want to collect anonymous responses to your survey. Additionally, you are going to, once you have your questions in, you must hit this publish button. Otherwise, people will not have access to your survey. They won't be able to take the survey. And finally, and this is also very important, you'll go into your share settings and you're going to want to make sure that your responder view is set to anyone with the link can respond. And then you'll click done. And then what happens is when you're ready to send your survey out, you're going to click on the responder button. Oops, looks like I didn't hit publish. Even though I told you to, I didn't actually hit publish. Sorry about that. So at least we know that it will stop you before you can go on. But you're going to take that responder link. You can shorten it if you'd like. But when you copy it, this is what you're going to be sending out. So I'm going to open up a new tab, and you'll be able to see, obviously there's nothing on this particular one, but you can see that this is in, the format that I would need to do to take it. And you, as the owner of it, will see that you've got that little editing pencil over in the bottom right-hand corner. That means you can go back, you can test this out, look at what it looks like once you put it together. And if you want to make additional edits, you can go right back into it. All right, so we kind of talked through the big things. We talked through make sure on your settings that you don't have, that it's collecting email addresses. You've published it. You want to make sure that you've changed your share setting to anyone with the link can respond. Now, let's look at one that's completed. This, of course, is the concept that the survey is about, the topic. This is just please take a few minutes to respond to the 10 questions below in an effort to let me learn more about the general's public feelings about philanthropy and charities. So you can put an explanation like that. You'll see here that this particular student had a variety, some yes, no, some, optional choices with an other. some short answer, agree and disagree. So you've got some options here. I will show you though that you've got, you've got quite a few options. You can have short answer or longer answer questions, multiple choice. You can have people check all that apply. You can have drop downs where you'll, have some kind of, pre-selected drop downs that you've added in your options. You can have a linear scale or a rating, a multiple choice grid, a checkbox grid. So you've got some options on the kinds of questions. The only thing I would encourage you to think about is you can see that a lot of these are yes, no, agree, disagree, more than our short answer. The short answer are a little bit more difficult to analyze when you get to that point. Not to say that you shouldn't have some, but if you look over on the, this is just a summary of responses, you can see that it's very easy for Google to give you, a very fast understanding when you've got these quantifiable answers or possible answers. It can give you a good idea of, where the responses fell. And of course, this one didn't have that many responses, one response out of 3, but you'll start to get more responses. So this will be a true pie chart, in if that were the responses that you could see. But on the flip side, you can see that these, short answer responses or longer answer responses, you're going to have to mull through it and look at those and come up with some commonalities across those responses. So I always encourage you to, keep, I would say make more than half quantifiable types of answers, multiple choice, check boxes, yes, no, true, false, that kind of thing. And, about 40% would be your short answer types, because like I said, you're going to have more than 3 responses. You'll have 25 plus responses. So you'll want to think about that. Another thing that you can do with your responses always is you can convert it into a spreadsheet. So if you simply click create a new spreadsheet and then click create, you'll notice that this will open up and it will just give you a different way of looking at that data. So that might be easier in spreadsheet format to look quickly through all of these short answer responses, and even highlight or even use something like Command Find or Control Find or F to just look for common words. All right, that hopefully will walk you through making your survey. Again, don't forget, you're starting in your email. You're going to go to this, Google menu. You're going to click on Forms. You'll be able to create it, use these to add questions. The only other thing I can tell you is if you want, you can always change colors. You can upload a heading. Those are some possibilities as well, not as important as the questions themselves. And if you have any questions as you begin to do your surveys, just let me know.